seated. People versus Cochran. Cochran is present. The attorneys are here. The jury and all that. The jury box.
Thank you, Your Honor. People call Detective Sergeant Chris Brackett to the stand.
Please stand, raise your right hand, and be sworn by the clerk.
You solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God. You may be seated.
Please state your name.
Chris Brackett,
And what is your occupation?
Detective Sergeant with the Michigan State Police.
And how long have you been with the Michigan State Police?
Just shy of 20 years.
And how long is a detective? Christopher Regan's disappearance?
Yes.
How did you become involved in the investigation?
I was asked to assist the Iron River Police Department.
And do you recall the date that you became involved in the investigation?
October 28, 2014.
Were other Michigan State Police personnel also tasked to assist with the investigation?
Yes.
Who else from Michigan State Police became involved at the same time as you?
Detective Ballinger, Detective Ryla, Detective Larson, and also Detective Campbell.
And are they all at the same post, or are they all at different posts?
They're all at different posts, local, yes.
All in the Upper Peninsula, however?
Correct.
What was the first thing you did with respect to the investigation?
We debriefed. We had a meeting to discuss the circumstances.
And was Chief Rizzo present at that meeting with you?
Yes.
On October 28th, 2014, did you conduct some interviews with respect to Christopher Regan's disappearance?
Yes.
And who was the first interview with?
It was with the defendant.
Was anyone else involved in the interview at that time?
Detective Ballinger.
And is that fairly typical that detectives will, there'll be more than one in an interview?
Yes.
Where did the interview occur?
At Iron River Police Department.
And how was it that you came to interview the defendant?
She was just a person of interest early on in the investigation.
And why was she a person of interest?
Because we knew that she was dating Mr. Regan.
Was the interview recorded?
Yes.
And to your knowledge, was a copy of the recording retained?
Yes.
And who was it retained by?
The Iron River Police Department.
Was the interview transcribed?
Yes.
And who transcribed it for you?
It was our secretary or my secretary at the state police post. I don't know.
Is it a certified word-for-word transcription?
No.
What time of day did the interview occur?
Approximately 1:15, 1:30, right around there.
And did you obtain a telephone number from the defendant during the interview?
Yes.
Why was it important to obtain a telephone number?
Well, to contact her and to check for phone records and whatnot.
Was there anything discussed about that phone number and whose it was, or how many phones the defendant and her husband had?
Well, at the beginning she said it was her phone, and then eventually it went into it was Jason's phone, but then it was both of theirs because they had two phones, but one they ended up turning off because of expenses.
Was there any discussion with her about how long they had been sharing a phone?
About a week.
And did she say what her phone number was?
906. We just asked how she knew Mr. Regan.
And what did she say?
She said they knew through work. They both worked at the Oldenburg. That they kayaked, they biked together, that they were hanging out together.
And when you say hanging out, was it more than just hanging out? Was it, when you say hanging out, what do you mean?
Yes, it was more than hanging out. It started out as friends, and then it turned into an intimate relationship.
Was there any discussion with her about whether her husband knew or didn't know about the relationship?
Right, and he did know about the relationship.
According to the defendant?
Correct.
Was there discussion with her about how often she would see Chris Regan?
Yes, almost every night. They would have dinner, and then 2 to 3 times that Chris Regan actually went to her house.
And where, if you know, would they have dinner almost every night?
at his apartment.
Was she asked about how her husband felt regarding her relationship with Chris Regan?
Yes, he was fine. They were open with it.
Was there any indication of what her marital status was with her husband at the time?
They were separated, and she was seeing other people at the time also.
In addition to Chris Regan?
Correct.
Was there anything discussed regarding her husband's medical issues, if any?
Just he had depression, he had medical issues with his back, and his kidneys and different issues.
And what discussion, if any, was had with her regarding whether her husband knew Chris?
He did not know Chris.
When she indicated to you she was seeing other guys in addition to Chris Regan, did she indicate to you where she was living at the time?
Yes, she was living at her house with Jason.
Was there questioning as to the last time she saw Chris Regan?
Yes, it would have been a couple of weeks ago is what she said of that interview.
Okay, and were you able to get her to clarify during that interview specific date range?
A date range, yes, it was between the 12th and the 15th, and then eventually we got it narrowed down to around the 13th or the 14th.
How did the defendant and Chris Regan communicate, if you know?
By phone, but mainly by text messaging. They did call each other, but mainly text messaging.
And was there a discussion regarding what she did the last time she saw him?
Yes.
Okay. And what did she say about that?
She said they were at his apartment, they ate, and he went to bed around 7:30, and they discussed him moving to North Carolina.
Was she asked what time she arrived at the apartment?
Yes,
And what did she say about that?
it was around 5:30.
When she was discussing going to his house almost every night for dinner, was there a discussion about whether or not she spent the night at the house?
Right, but she did not spend the night there.
Never spent the night there?
Never.
So she indicated to you that she and Chris Regan talked that night about his job. Was there discussion of how Chris Regan felt about the job?
Yes.
And what did she say?
He was excited about the job, and he was excited to move down to North Carolina.
What indication, if any, did she give you as to whether she had been asked to or was going to North Carolina with Chris Regan?
Well, we asked her if she was ever asked by him, and she said yes. There was one time that she was asked, but she said no, that this was home for her.
Did she ever discuss her husband or her relationship in terms of whether or not she would go with Chris to North Carolina?
That I don't know. I don't recall that part.
Was there a discussion as to time frame when he was supposed to leave for North Carolina or meet his son in North Carolina?
Yes, he was supposed to meet with his son down there, or to see who could be down there first. It was before 11, November 2nd.
What, at this point in time, did you know about Chris Regan's disappearance?
We didn't know much. We just knew that he was missing.
Okay. So when you're discussing or when you're talking to her, what's your purpose for this interview?
Just to gain information.
Was there any indication or did she give any indication to you as to whether or not Chris Regan was suicidal or depressed?
She said that she's never seen that, and she didn't believe that he would be or would have been.
And during this interview, what was her demeanor with you?
Calm, cool.
Was there a discussion with the defendant as to whether or not she and Chris Regan ever fought?
Yes, they did say they fought one time.
Okay. And was there, did she indicate to you what they fought about?
Yes.
What did they fight about?
Because of their relationship and they worked together, that people at work found out about that and that he was angry.
What did she say, if anything, about Chris Regan's vehicles?
She just said that he owns 2 vehicles, One is a silver, kind of a sports car, two-door. And then the other one was a pickup truck with a cap on the back, white, and then she described it as maybe a kayak on top of it most of the time.
Was she asked whether or not she'd been in either vehicle?
Yes.
Okay, what did she say about that?
She said she's been in the car.
Was she asked if she had driven the car?
Yes, she said she has driven it.
She said that she had driven it?
Yes.
Your Honor, at this time, I'd like to play a clip from this interview for the jury.
Right, members of the jury, if you can't hear or see what's on this clip, please indicate by raising your hand.
Your Honor, we're offering joint exhibit number 7 for admission, which is a clean copy of the interview, which will be the court's copy.
That's received.
We're also offering exhibit 7A, which is a joint exhibit as well. That is a redacted copy for the jury to take back with them when they're deliberating.
It's received.
And then we're offering as well exhibit 7B, which should be
7B.
Let me just verify that, Your Honor. No, I apologize. Exhibit 7 should be actually C, I apologize.
C?
Yes, which would be the video course.
And that's a joint exhibit?
Correct.
Received.
Ms. Stark, you played the first one.
Obviously, we'd like to talk to you about Chris. Tell us everything you know about Chris from maybe the time you met until like about how he is. Yeah. I met at work. I work at Older. I got fired. I'm not leave. We started hanging out. We did swim biking. We did kayaking. We did hiking. Basically got pretty close to the last one. We got our best friend. Did you have an intimate relationship? And then obviously your husband knows or doesn't know? He knows. Yeah. And he's very simple as far as he go to work, show up on time, go to work, come home, and that's pretty much it. Most people hang out and stuff like that. We pretty much have dinner like every night. I usually cook, or sometimes he cook. You and Chris? Mm-hmm. Where would you have this dinner? Usually at his apartment. Okay. He's home right now, maybe 2 or 3 times. And your husband didn't mind that this was going on? I was open with him. Chris wasn't the only one I was dating. We were separated. He had suffered with depression for a long time. He had cancer a while back. He can't do anything physical without being in a lot of pain. So it's been kind of hard. Okay. So yeah, his depression was pushing me out for a while. So I mean, he did go to the hospital. He was getting counseling. I've been getting counseling just to try to work it out. You know. But yeah, me and we got really close. We had a lot in common, and there's a couple years between us. So your husband, he knew Chris as well? He didn't know. I mean, me and Chris worked together. I hung out with Chris after work. And he might have seen me maybe once. But yeah, they didn't know. Usually, me and Chris or me and Jason. That's nice. Okay. Have they ever met? I think maybe once. I'm not for certain now. Might have just done a cabin. And your husband, I mean, sounds like they were open open with his relationship with other guys.
That was very good.
Yeah. And he accepted that?
I think he was seeing somebody else too, but he didn't talk too much about his, side of it, and I was talking about
Did that cause problems in your relationship?
what we lost from.
You and him see other people?
That was our choice.
Okay.
That was something we decided.
You both agreed upon, and he was okay with you doing it, you were okay with him doing it?
Yeah. It was out of the rules.
Okay. Where were you living when that was going on?
Same house.
Same house. And he was living there too? Okay.
He can't work. He has no income, so I was the one that took care of all the bills and made sure he was paid.
Why can't he work?
He's got sciatica, he's got severe hip pain, he can't take much medicine for it, he's missing a kidney from cancer. He's got a lot of different medical conditions. And I've got a short order to say about.
Okay. This isn't really an issue that we brought you here for, but when we knocked on your door, we could smell marijuana. Does somebody have a card?
He's a Geneva.
Okay, was he smoking marijuana when we got there?
He was from upstairs in Virginia.
He does have a medical card? Okay. All right. When was the last time you saw Chris?
I didn't see that last night. I want to say probably 2 weeks ago. Probably 2 weeks from today, I think.
You saw him or talked to him or?
I talked to him, I think. Because the date today was 28. Just like, I would say between the 12th and the 15th was the last time I saw him. We did.
Where did you see him?
I seen him at his apartment, I think.
Were the two of you still intimate at that time?
Yeah,
Between the 12th and the 15th?
I believe so, yeah.
How did you arrange that meeting that day? Did you do that or did he do that or how did that come about where you saw him that day?
Usually text.
Okay.
It's either a text or a phone call.
Do you know who initiated that?
Probably would have been me.
You? Do you know what day that was then?
It would be Monday. 2 weeks.
Can you say for certain it was a text?
I can't be for certain. I would say 95% of the time. Usually I would talk if we were together.
Do you know, what's his phone number, Chris's phone number?
I don't know offhand. I don't have my phone.
You didn't bring your phone?
No, it's a Green Day radio.
But this would have been on Monday. I'm just gonna get a calendar up here. Let's see, today's October 28th.
Be the 13th. 13th or 14th. Thursday, 13th or 14th.
And what makes you sure it was the 13th or 14th? Is there anything you
I
heard?
kind of upset because usually he'll text me every day. He doesn't talk to me now. He texts me throughout the day when he's at work.
Do you have a phone out?
We both, we're talking that we did, have feelings and we try not to have feelings. I was still married, I was separated, but he had a lot of respect for the marriage vows and stuff, and, wasn't trying to have feelings, and we, talked about it, and he felt the same way, so we weren't hanging out as much, but still had the same relationship.
Kelly, assuming that you may have been the last person to see him, tell us what you did that night. Tell us what went on.
No, I've never stayed at his house anyway.
What kind of conversation did you have?
We talked about Asheville. That's a job that he just got. That's in North Carolina. He was excited about that. I don't know if they told you at his home last night. His son's going to be, they're moving together in North Carolina or Tennessee, somewhere in that corner.
Okay.
So, just everything's going good.
Did he ever ask you to go with him?
Yeah,
And that was an option for you?
I feel like this is home to me. This is the most peaceful place I've been. Like I said, I worked and lived in Indiana. It was chaos. There were 70 police. Wore myself out. And just that many people in such a close quarters. I needed something nice and peaceful. And I found that.
Did Chris have a relationship with anybody else?
He said no. He said there was an ex-girlfriend, Teresa, Tara, something like that. They dated. I think she was the reason he moved up here. I don't know for sure that's the name, but he talked about her. They talk pretty often, but I don't think he had a relationship still. I mean, he was pretty honest about it.
Sounds like you two were close.
Very good.
So you last saw him on, you said it was Monday or Tuesday. So that would be the 13th or 14th, right?
Yeah.
I guess I'd like to know, again, assuming that you were the last one to see him, when was he leaving? Did he tell you when he was leaving, or?
The only day I got him wasn't that day. It was going to be, he was going to try to leave his son there before November 2nd. That was the date. So their goal was whoever got there first was there. Or not whoever got there second was there. But he would have told me if he was leaving. I can't think of his leaving.
How was he that day?
Let me see how much left.
Do you have any depression problems?
I don't think so. Not, I haven't seen it. I mean, you know, he considered the job he was in kind of a dead-end job. He didn't get respect from like the other people, but he did appreciate the workers he had. So that was kind of a reward for dealing with the headaches of us. So they kind of balanced out. I don't think he didn't have depression away from that.
Yeah, why was he leaving this area?
He wouldn't be with his son. He lived in North Carolina for some around that somewhere in his lifetime. Loved it there. And then him and his son, I think were both getting jobs. I'm not sure. I've never met his son, so I don't know. Just from what he told me, I think they were both trying to get work in the same city just to live with each other. Or live by each other. He went to cabin and moved.
Did he have a place to live?
All I know is the apartment they had here. He didn't tell me that he got an apartment or anything there. He was wanting to have there.
So your night ended, you were both on good terms.
We always bought lunch, and it was probably maybe 2 months ago, about, somebody at work had said something, because we kept our relationship at work professional, we supervised there. Wasn't my immediate supervisor, but doesn't look like if you're, fraternizing and hanging out with an employee after work. So we try to keep that separate, and have our personal life separate from work. But he said a couple people had said that we had a relationship there, and he was pissed. He was really pissed about it. And then I found out that it was just the guys jumping to conclusions, and
So tell me, what do you think happened to Chris?
I don't know. or text me. Because even that one time that we fought, he sent me, and called me a couple names. I mean, he said it like it was.
Have you ever been to your house before?
Yes.
Yeah. So you know it's working, isn't it?
Oh,
You guys way back when you back.
no. It was probably 2 months after we started and I had to work that I had come back. Yeah, it was right after the beginning, just first 5 per day.
When was the last time you came to your house?
Maybe 3 weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks. And he got over, I want to say twice in the last month. Okay. And usually during the weekdays, we did more hanging out the weekends. He had his thing, but weekends are weekends. You know, he didn't stay in. Usually you go out exploring or kayaking, hiking.
And Jason wasn't there during those times?
No. No.
Where did you go hiking and kayaking?
He took me to Lake Ottawa one time. He took me Iron Lake. It's like north of the apartment somewhere out there. And then down, we went hiking several times. He goes down 189 and you go to 70. I think there's a 70, I don't know what road, but there's like little parks, little side streets and doors, usually try to truck back there and go hiking.
Have you talked to anybody about, him being on?
Yeah. Art, that's one of his employees that Art's one of my friends too.
What's Art's last name?
Johnson or Jackson? It's one or the other. He works at Bloomberg. But those two didn't hang out. He was just an employee, so. But, yeah, no, when he had wanted to come medical leave as well, he just had surgery when he went out there. He was one that told me Chris didn't show up for work. We didn't have a call, no show. They said he called off the first day, like a vacation day, and then he was no call, no show, and he quit. I was told a few times by just different people that I work with, which is not like him. He said his thing, he wants to leave his integrity. He wants to keep his life with people, but he wants to leave his integrity. And that wasn't going to be, he was just not showing up. That's not letting know.
Did you go by his apartment to check on him?
Mm-hmm.
You did?
Yes.
You knocked on the door?
I knocked on the door once, and I drove by the apartment to see if the vehicles were there, just because they're
Vehicles?
He's got two.
He's got two.
He's got a car and a truck.
Okay, tell me what the car looks like.
It's like a sports car. I don't know the make and model. Silverish, I think.
Silver?
He took me for a drive in it. It was like a sports car, the way you drive it.
Okay. 2 doors, 4 doors, or?
82.
Okay.
Yeah. Because she opened the door and just one big door.
So he has a car and a truck?
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about the truck.
It's a white, smaller model pickup. I think it's a Nissan or Toyota. It's white. It's got a little cat on the back. Back when it had like a kayak on it. A kayak.
Okay. The kayak is in the back of the truck or?
No, it's got a strap on it, on the truck.
So there must be a rack to carry it.
Okay, yeah, it's strapped on there somehow. That's how we take the kayak.
Your Honor, I see it's 11:50. I have about 2 pages of questions, which will probably put us right to noon, if that's okay with the court. Detective, was she asked about where she thought Chris Regan might be?
She was.
Okay, and what was her response?
She said, I don't know.
Was there any discussion about when she went to his apartment to check on him?
There was.
And what did she say?
She said she went and checked on him. It was around the first time, it was around the 15th or 16th. It was like a Wednesday, she said.
And was there any discussion if there were any vehicles or anyone at the apartment on the 15th?
Right. She said she did knock on the door, that both vehicles were there at that time, and she was 100% sure they were.
Okay. And did she get a response when she knocked on the door on the 15th?
No.
And did she indicate to you whether she drove by again or went to the apartment again?
She did. About a week later, she said she drove by the apartment, and she only saw one vehicle there at that time.
Was there any discussion between you and the defendant or Detective Bellinger and the defendant as to whether or not she had access to the apartment?
There was discussion of that, yeah.
Okay, and what did the defendant say about that?
She said she had a key to the apartment.
And when she said that she went to the apartment on the 15th, was she asked if she went inside the apartment?
I don't know if she was directly asked, but she didn't offer or say she went into the apartment. Eventually, we asked her, did you go into the apartment? Yes.
And what did she say?
She said yes, I did.
And was there discussion with her or conversation with her regarding how the apartment looked?
Yes.
What is
It looked a mess. It was not organized at all. It looked like he was packing.
Did she indicate whether that was typical or atypical for Chris Regan in her experience?
It was not typical for him.
Was there any discussion with her regarding whether Chris Regan used drugs?
There was discussion about it, and not that she knew of.
Going back for a moment to her or Jason Cochran's knowledge regarding the Chris Regan relationship, did you ask her how Jason Cochran found out about her and Chris?
Yes, and she told him about it, about the relationship.
And do you know when she told him?
It was like 3 months prior to that.
Was she asked if Jason was ever upset about her relationship with Chris Regan?
She was asked that.
Okay, and what was her response to that?
No, he was never upset.
Was there any indication from the defendant whether or not she had been threatened by Jason Cochran, or did you ask her about threats by Jason Cochran?
We did, and she said she was never threatened by him.
Was she directly asked if she was afraid of Jason Cochran?
Yes.
What did she say about that?
And she said, no, no man would ever push her around, or she could take care of herself.
Your Honor, at this time we do have a second video clip. I'm not sure how long it is, so I don't know if you want to wait till after lunch.
Right, members of the jury, we're going to take our noon recess. We're going to come back on session at 1 p.m. Again, my cautions as to who you can speak to and what you can speak about, and any discussion about the case. I also understand you have one witness who became ill and will not be testifying today.
That's correct. I'm anticipating moving him to next week. I'm just not sure which day.
So that might shorten up our day.
It may, however, this is taking a little bit longer than I expected with the detective.
Well, good. I'm glad we're filling the time.
We will fill in the time.
Stand in recess till 1 p.m.